The regular meeting of the City Commission for Tuesday, February 14th will come to order. Please join me in silencing your cell phones. Happy Valentine's Day to one and all. Thank you for joining us on Valentine's Day evening. Welcome back to our senior and older and wiser Commissioner McGurk. It's good to see you survived the incident. I see you have a cane in the back. I hope it's not going to be necessary tonight to get you out of here with the cane, sir. Just great to see you in one piece.
Mayor's referring to my 50th birthday, so.
City Clerk, Madam, please call the roll.
Mayor Cleveland.
Here.
Vice Mayor Hartman.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner McGurk.
Here.
Commissioner Preen. Here. Thank you.
Police Department Chaplain Pete Carter will now give the invocation. Please stand.
Let us pray. Most gracious and kind Creator, we come before you this evening with thanksgiving in our hearts for allowing us to see yet another day. We ask that you continue now to look upon our beautiful city and those who govern it, those who serve, those who reside, and those who visit. May they find this a place of peace, a place of joy, and more importantly, a place of love. As we continue to show love for one another during this Valentine's season, we ask, oh God, that our love would be shown for others as well as for ourselves as we continue to bring glory and honor to thy name in our actions and in our ways that we treat one another. It is in your matchless name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Carter. Director Rob Salazar will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Move on to the approval of the agenda. Assistant City Manager Niebert, are there any changes to the published agenda?
Yes, sir. We have one addition to the consent agenda, item 6P. You have the packet in its consideration of approval to purchase a bucket truck for the Streets Division in the Maintenance Operations Department.
Thank you very much. We'll now move to announcements, presentations, and recognition. I'd like to recognize the ACA for a wonderful job of putting on the 47th Annual Images Art Show. Many of you may have attended. It was a huge success, and hats off to Nancy Norman and the entire organization. Leading the volunteer organization for the past 16 years is Miss Nancy Dovey. I wanted to thank Nancy for being the coordinator. Under your leadership for the last 16 years, Images has been a shining star in the city's crown. Thank you so much. And now, Assistant City Manager Niebert, would you like to give us the update from our last meeting?
Yes, sir. Happy to do that. We had several citizens come forward with questions, concerns, and comments. First up was Nancy Norman, who talked about the wonderful art grant opportunities that are available for the city. Rob Salazar is currently going to be working with them to expand those grant opportunities for arts programs throughout the city. Mr. and Mr. Sharkey, father and son, expressed interest in the 120 Flagler as a lease. The city is considering additional options on that, and we'll be presenting not only their proposal but other proposals for the Commission's consideration at a future date. Mr. McKenna was here to talk about his wonderful donation of 2 electrical bikes to the police department, and you'll be reviewing that and accepting that donation at tonight's meeting. Mr. Arvidsson on Riverside Drive, as well as several other residents, were concerned about the cell tower that was being proposed on Riverside Drive. We'll be having a public meeting with those residents on the 21st at 2 p.m. right in this room to discuss their concerns and hopefully bring a workable option for everybody. Mr. Williams talked about some issues and concerns related to the parking task force. Obviously, the commission has accepted applications and will be making those appointments at the meeting on the 28th. We had City Radigan in the Trail subdivision, and her husband expressed concerns over the airport. We are continuing to work with Epic to minimize the impacts of that. So we meet with them at least once a month, Epic, to address the concerns and look at options and ways to minimize the impact on the neighboring communities. Ms. Lilly, Rachel Lilly, talked about the fee waiver for the prom. They approached us here recently on a request to extend the authorized hour of the prom from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. They have agreed to pay the $200 additional fee, have asked for no additional consideration, so the staff is comfortable with that and will be recommending that approval and authorizing that extension of the hour of the prom. Let's see. There was Mr. Romero expressed some concerns on some crosswalks that he interested in. I will be happy to announce that the crosswalks on South Atlantic and 5th and 3rd Street are complete. So part of Mr. Romero's concerns and requests have been met in a timely manner. Ms. Lutz on Riverside Drive was greatly appreciative of our vigor, to use her phrase, in putting in the Washington crosswalk, and talked about putting no parking signs in her neighborhood. Staff is reviewing the feasibility of that. That takes a little more work than just crosswalks, so we're looking at the feasibility of that. If we get the okay from staff, we'll be bringing that as a future agenda item for your consideration. Unless there's any other additional questions, that's all I have.
No, thanks, Ron. That's a great report. I appreciate it, and I know the community appreciates that direct feedback from you and the awesome staff, so thank you. We're going to move on to public participation. This is the opportunity you have to do a monologue. We won't be up here to answer questions. This is an opportunity for you to tell us what you think, the feelings you might have, your concerns, your interest items. And so I'd appreciate the respect from the audience not to cheer or clap or jeer at those that are speaking. And you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Again, the city manager, assistant city manager will be taking notes and will provide feedback just as we have in the last several meetings. When you come up to the podium, please offer us your name and address and then proceed. Good
My
evening,
name
ma'am.
is Sylvia Sivert. I live at 9 Turnbull, Zone 1. I am here to talk about Volusia Crushing LLC, which is located in our neighborhood. What do we want? We want the city to require the cement crushing business to move out of our neighborhood to an appropriate location that does not impose on quality of life for residents. We want the city to rezone the property at 1050 Fremont Street to I-1 classification. The parcel of land was zoned I-2 50 years ago. It was a different time in the history of NSB. Environment and health concerns did not have the priority that they have now. The previous business was a cement casting company. The process of molding cement is innocuous. The process of crushing cement is harmful and offensive. There are 2 dust cloud examples in pictorial form. Why do we want this? The cement crushing process is inherently noisy, dusty, and causes vibration, all of which violate city ordinance and severely affect the quality of life in our neighborhoods. Bluntly, it does not belong close to residential areas. Volusia Crushing entered our neighborhood in December 2018. There is no evidence that this company was vetted properly, no evidence that they had an approved site plan prior to their presence with a signed and sealed report from an appropriately qualified certified engineer stating that all performance standards will be met, as stated in the I-2 Heavy Industrial District Ordinance 8502. There is no evidence that the residents were notified the company was moving in, and no evidence the residents were given an opportunity to object. Independence Recycling proposed a cement crushing facility on a property in Titusville, Florida last year. The city proactively solicited residents' concerns and conducted environmental impact study. We believe they operated without a code-required license until 2022, after we called city attention to it. We do not know if there were consequences, as cited in the code, for operating without a license. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Haver. Appreciate your comments. Yes, sir.
Good evening. Happy Valentine's Day. To the ladies, of course. I'm a little old-fashioned that way.
Appreciate
Okay?
that. Pull that microphone right to your mouth, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for letting me the opportunity to address this group. My name is Rich Malzowski. I live at 369 Ralph Avenue in unincorporated Volusia County, which is right in the middle of New Smyrna Beach. You may recall that I spoke at the flood meeting on January 18th, where I suggested a comprehensive infrastructure modernization program. Since that date, I've attended the Volusia County Commission meeting on February 7th and the NSB Planning Zoning Board meeting on February 6th. It was at the Planning and Zoning meeting, I asked how the city was able to approve and issue a permit for 370 Ralph. This is the approved permit here. Or not permit, but the diagram used to provide it. If you'll notice, the septic system actually crosses over from one lot to another. Okay, you gotta have 5-foot setback, so there was no setback. In addition, the way that the lot was split up, there would have been 4 septic systems within a quarter of an acre. Okay, that's not healthy. So I called Volusia County Environmental, and they came in and they said this is an unbuildable lot, and they turned around and they put a stop work on it. Okay, so that is the problem with that. Now I also have a picture of the 4 septic systems. You can see where they are. You can also see, per my 29th pictures, the flood. You can see now they started 4 days after the flood, and that's what we have, and they've had to stop work, and now we have this mess. Okay, so I've demonstrated the problem, right? Clearly, somehow this slipped. Shouldn't have, but it did. I want to change directions a little bit. Before recently retiring, I've been fortunate enough to work for 3 largest companies in the Fortune 100. During my professional career, I've learned not to judge by what one says or writes, but instead by what they do or what they don't do. However, sometimes words matter. For example, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the state of Florida Constitution, the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, they all matter. This city charter matters. This is what should be governing what we're doing in our city. So I'm sure you all have read this charter, I hope, right? Somebody else did not. But I want to read section 6 for the audience in case they haven't read it. The city of New Smyrna Beach, in order to ensure the health and safety of its citizens and visitors, shall strengthen city standards with respect to air quality, water quality, sea level rise, and flooding, including. Now, the important thing is it says shall, not may, possibly, someday. It's like getting a concealed carry permit. If I meet the requirements, you're going to give it to me. You're going to give me this, I hope. That's going to be the ask again. Anyway.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Your time's expired.
Okay.
How y'all doing today? Good. My name is Garrett Lee II. I live in 1003 Claremont Street, New Smyrna Beach, Florida. I'm here to address the concerns about the concrete crushing plant and having a lot of issues being outside, employees staying after work. They always drag their equipment. Just to let you know, I'm the house directly in front of it. And I have a 5-year-old kid. He doesn't need to hear some of the language that they're using, for one. For 2, they don't need to drag their equipment over to my side of the property to work on it. For 3, the dust is just getting completely out of control. You know, I'm sorry, I'm not the best at talking, but there's many concerns. Silicosis is for one. I've been staying up with my son. He's been coughing at night. It's getting way out of hand. being formerly working in the concrete industry, construction, all that, you know, been doing it all my life. Concrete dust is dry, is considered like calcium oxide. Just adding water to that can irritate your skin, makes it burn. So that means every day when I go outside, leaving for work, I grab my truck, my door handle, it's burning my hands, tearing all my stuff up. Can't hang out in the driveway with my kid. He can't ride a skateboard in the driveway, can't do nothing. I can't open my garage, clean none of my motorcycles. It's kind of got us trapped in our house. And another thing is the noise. Sometimes I work day shifts, sometimes I work night shifts. So when I work night shift, that's why I'm here today, how am I gonna sleep tomorrow? When they're out there making all kinds of racket at 7 in the morning. And I really wish I was more prepared and had more to say for you, but it's about all I have. So thank you for my time.
Appreciate the comments. Thank you very much, sir. Would everybody from that particular neighborhood in town in Turnbull please rise? I wanted to see how many people have turned out for that. Okay, we appreciate your presence tonight. You're being heard loud and clear. So thank you. Please be seated. I'm delighted you have a great presence here tonight, and we respect that. If someone has something new, something additional to add to this, we've heard at least 2 speakers talk very effectively about what the problem and what the situation, what you're experiencing is. If you have something else to offer or something different, we'd love to hear it. And the next speaker, please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Enaris Inman. I reside in Daytona Beach, Florida, but I'm here to introduce myself as the new campus director of Daytona State College, New Smyrna Beach, Edgewater campus. To you, Mayor Cleveland, to the council, to those in attendance, both in person and online, I'm here to simply reaffirm the presence of Daytona State College and share that I am looking forward to serving the New Smyrna Beach community. Thank you for your time, and I yield the rest of mine.
Glad to have you. Welcome. Thank you for your comments, sir.
Didn't quite stand up in time, but I'm here for the concrete crushing agenda as well. But I've
Speak
got
up
something
into that
different to say.
microphone, sir. Bend it up toward your mouth
There
so
you go.
everybody in the back
That
can
better?
hear. But a lot better.
All right, Terry Cooper, 1014 Turnbull Street, New Smyrna Beach, Florida native, New Smyrna Beach, born and raised. I've talked to a couple of people here about this problem before, but these may not seem familiar to you or sound familiar. Marble Falls, Texas, lawsuit settled. Fairborn, Ohio, lawsuit settled. Rock Crushing Township, Paynesville, Ohio, lawsuit settled. These were all settled. The Florida state statute is a different thing than what you guys know as rock crushing, concrete crushing, whatever you call it. Florida state statute says rock crushing does not concern concrete business as the same entity. It's different. 2 different types of businesses, not the same thing. I know that one person here said that they were grandfathered in. Not the case. These lawsuits were all settled, not for hundreds of dollars, millions of dollars. And they were against the companies as well as the municipalities. So the next one could read, not saying it will, but it could read, filed against New Smyrna Beach, settled. That's all I got to say.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Ma'am, please stop. It's not appropriate. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michelle Flores. I live at 307 Freeman Street, New Smyrna, across the street from the concrete. I have lived in my home for 25 years. It was very peaceful at the time until the concrete business moved in. I cannot open my windows to enjoy the fresh air and hear the birds singing because of the noise of the concrete and the dust. I have lost my joy, serenity, and relaxing in my own yard. It is very stressful. I feel like a prisoner in my own home. Your home is supposed to be your castle. This is not only a health physically and mentally and long-term effect it could be. I never received a letter that this kind of business was coming into our neighborhood. This is my home, and I should have the right to live outside. Thank you.
Thank you for your
I
comments,
have
ma'am.
copies. I don't know if I'm supposed to give it.
Please give it to the city clerk. Appreciate that. Thank you for your comments, ma'am.
Nikki,
Hi.
20-plus years, I had no idea your name was Michelle.
Right? It's Mickey.
It was always Mickey.
I was like, who's Michelle?
Yeah, like,
Yes,
My
ma'am.
name is Jill Anderson, and I just recently moved here at 351 Freeman Street. I am catty corner, the concrete company, and brand new resident. I don't have the longevity, but what I will tell you is when I was looking for my home, I looked on the weekends, and unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize after my purchase when I moved here that the noise was going to be at the level that it was. I personally have worked in the industrial industry myself for the last 22 years, and I know that not only concrete, but all of the dust type hazardous that, you should be wearing respirators when you're working with those types of environments. The other thing that I have noticed just recently is that the amount of rock crushing has tripled since I moved here in July. It is literally 10 feet above the retaining vinyl fencing, which is not only an eyesore, but it's much more than it was even 6 months ago. Finally, the noise from the machines, the beep, 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 beep. I work from home. I have my own business here in New Smyrna. I educate my child at home. And I literally can't even get on a Zoom call outside of my front door, back door, without the noise of that beeping sound going constantly. And it's literally 7 a.m. to sometimes 6 p.m., 6 days a week. Like, I don't know when they shut down or when they're supposed to, but that's a little bit like over and above, I think, for me. I would be happy to video when I'm on a call or, just to give you an idea, the still shots and stuff like that don't really, to me, give you the environment that we're living in. And it's unfortunate, not to mention the resale value that I'm going to be suffering. But thank you for listening. We do appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. Just for all the concrete speakers tonight, the city manager will be taking notes. We'll be reviewing that with the staff, so your voices are heard. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Milton Arnold. My wife, Corinne Jordan, and I live at 2636 Neverland Drive in Coastal Woods. Our house backs up to Pioneer Trail. We moved here from Orlando almost 1 year ago because we knew New Smyrna Beach as a quiet town close to the beach. My topic is the proposed interchange of I-95 at Pioneer Trail, which will be less than 1 mile from my house. There is an urgent and important need to inform New Smyrna Beach residents of the construction of the Pioneer Trail interchange with I-95 as it is projected to be done by 2025. One way would be to have FDOT do a public presentation in New Smyrna Beach in a school or other public venue. I give thanks to Commissioner and Vice Mayor Randy Hartman for getting me some information regarding my topic. According to an online report in the Hometown News, the River to Sea Transportation Organization Board on January 25th, 2023 agreed to accept $102 million in American Rescue Plan Act funds for construction of a new interchange for I-95 at Pioneer Trail in New Smyrna Beach. This interchange is projected to be completed in 2025 per FDOT report 436292-1 I-95 interchange at Pioneer Trail. The project promises to decrease traffic volume and delays on State Road 44 in New Smyrna Beach and State Road 421 in Port Orange. This traffic volume will be routed onto two-lane Pioneer Trail. The FDOT study reports in detail on interchange design options, effects on traffic volume, speed, and safety on these roads. State Road 421 and Williamson Boulevard, State Road 421 and I-95 southbound, State Road 44 and Williamson Boulevard, and I'm not even sure that part exists yet, okay? State Road 44 and I-95 North, State Road 44 and Sugar Mill Drive, Pioneer Trail and Williamson Boulevard, Pioneer Trail and Turnbull Rip Bay Road. Two important issues are not being studied by FDOT as far as I can tell. First, increased travel to our beaches on Pioneer Trail, especially on weekends. It seems the likely route is I-95 to Pioneer Trail, to Enterprise, to Myrtle, to Washington, to North Causeway. Is this fair to the residents living on or near these roads? How about the churches? Second, will there be increased crime in coastal woods? My neighbor is a cop in Daytona Beach, and he thinks there will be significant increased crime since the Silas Drive entrance to coastal woods is less than 1 mile from the proposed interchange. Burglars and car thieves can come and go very quickly. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Hi, I'm Emily Blake. I'm at 831 Wayne, and I'll be the last one to give you guys a hard time about the concrete business. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Sacred Heart School students and the concerned parents about the major health concerns affecting our city. As a realtor and resident of the Fairgreen community, I've had several locals reach out to me about the noise and air pollution coming from Volusia Crushing. Once I realized the close proximity to my children's school, I feel that I needed to shed light on the hazards of this industrial business trying to operate in a residential community. There's been several research provided from Universal Engineering, and they concluded the particulate matter caused by this business is polluting the air. These solid particles are penetrating the young lungs of our children at Sacred Heart School while they're in classes, recess, and at lunchtime outside. It broke my heart to learn the same toxic concrete dust proven to cause cancers and chronic illnesses back in 9/11 was being produced a block away from my children's school. It's even more heartening to learn that all of these neighbors have taken a stand to put this business out, to move this business who's putting our residents and young lungs at risk and allowing them to continue to operate. Even the city of Edgewater was intelligent enough to move this business and protect its residents. Through the research of others, I've discovered this concrete business has been able to knowingly stop their work just in time for any noise ordinances tests to be conducted. They continue to evade decibel testing, and I think it is in our best interest to move it to Caladia Street, which backs up to the backside of this community, so that they are not aware ahead of time that this testing is being conducted and we can properly provide testing. I've also recently learned that in addition to the pollution this business is causing, they're also unloading concrete for the railroad and crushing railroad ties. In the past few months, this has become a major issue for the students of Sacred Heart School to get to school on time and for residents to get to work on time. The trains have stopped on US 1 during prime hours from 7:45 to 8:15 a.m. to accommodate the industrial business that has no business operating an industrial concrete yard in a small community. My children alone have been late for school 20 times in the last 2 months because of this train stopping in the early hours. I live 3 minutes from my kids' school. I have to drive up and over the bridge. It takes me about 15 minutes to accommodate just in case this train might be stopped, which has been nearly every day for the last 2 months. The parents of Sacred Heart School are not only concerned with the disruption in our children's ability to learn and to get to school in time, but the complete disregard that the city's had for the young lungs and the growing minds of Little New Smyrna residents. It appears to me that there are so many of us concerned that it can no longer be ignored. My hopes are our newly elected mayor and all of our newly elected officials will see the major health concerns and see the need for this business to be relocated. We may not agree on everything, but hopefully we agree the children are our future. Please consider the young lungs at risk and our residents, and please consider moving the location of this business. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am.
Good evening,
Dr.
Mayor,
Herman, good
Commission.
evening.
I'd like to just address briefly the curfew issue that's coming up on your agenda. When I was on the neighborhood council, one of the things we talked about a lot was what was a benchmark city to compare New Smyrna Beach to as we made changes or looked for ways to improve the community. And I would like to underline that I think with the press this morning about the curfew and the paper today about the parking commission, I believe in some ways we are becoming a benchmark because of your leadership and your willingness to tackle some really tough problems with not easy solutions. And any tourist community that's popular, we're going to have all kinds of challenges to make it a safe and fun place to live. So I'm glad you're discussing this important concept of a curfew, and it also obviously has pros and cons. I would hope to add to that discussion, which obviously makes it a little more complicated, is that how little services we actually have for that age group. We do wine walks, we do bike drink walks, and we do all kinds of things for adult population, but we don't have very much in our community for those 17 to 21-year-olds. And they are part of our community, but obviously the question is if we offer services or projects or entertainment for that age group, will we bring more of them? And that's, there's a debate about that as well. But I do think it should be part of the carrot and the stick. If we have a curfew, we also need to look at, are we offering something to help these young people, entertain and be part of our community in a constructive way. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
I don't like that thing. Good evening. My name is Yvonne Jefferson. I live at 557 Greenlawn Street here in New Smyrna, which is known as the Housing Authority. What I'm here for, some of us read on Facebook, and you know how Facebook is, okay, that you was going to be doing a curfew for the kids. What we do out at the Housing Authority, we try to keep our kids under control. Sometimes we have other kids that come in and do things, and then it's blamed on our kids. Now, the majority of the parents that's out there are single moms. And I also read that you all are going to be charging $50. Okay, so if two of the kids get in trouble, that's $100 coming out of the household. And if the mother is just a single mother, that's a hurt in her pocket. I understand that we do need curfew. Years ago, I got put in jail because I missed the curfew. We ain't gonna talk about that, okay? But anyway, at that time, they was only charging $2. And they called my grandmother, and I told them, I said, don't call her. And so they called her anyway. And then they told her that I was down there in the jail, okay? So she said, keep her. Keep her on down there. So I had to stay down there till the next day. Well, it was $2 at that time. Then they added $1 more. So she had to pay $3 to get me out of there. But do believe me, I didn't do that anymore. But what I wanted to say is there any kind of way that you can, make it a little leaner for single moms? Because it's bad when you ain't got a man in the house. All my kids are grown, grandkids grown, great-grands are grown. But I am very concerned about children. So I know that you all won't make no decisions until the 28th, I think I read. So would you consider that $50, if the mama has to pay $25, make the child do something? You understand what I'm saying? Because I had to go home and she took all the silverware that she had out, I had to wash it, I had to polish it, I had to put it back. That made me know you don't stay out over time. So y'all consider that. That's all I'm asking you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Appreciate that. Mr. McKenna, welcome.
Good evening. David McKenna, 216 Normandy Avenue. Nice to see you all this evening. I, too, want to speak to the curfew. For those of you that know me, you know that a year ago, roughly, I had a conversation with then Mayor Russ Owen following an altercation that my wife and I experienced during spring break that led me to reach out to him and say, hey, I think we need a curfew. This is a little out of control here in our town, and that was on a Monday night during the pouring rain at 10 o'clock, and we were overwhelmed on Flagler Avenue with young people who were having very little regard for our city and property owners and businesses, and it spiraled out of control. Fortunately, those of you that were on the commission at the time agreed that a curfew was necessary, and it was implemented, and I think we mitigated some of the issues that were taking place during that period. Quite honestly, my preference would have been to make the curfew earlier than 11 p.m. I don't know what a 17-year-old could be doing on Flagler Avenue at 11 p.m. without any sort of supervision. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I worked with high school students for 10 years, and I didn't see where giving them endless boundaries helped them in any way, shape, or form. And believe me, I'm all for having fun, and I think we, to the gentleman's point earlier, need to look at ways that we can try to channel some of those activities for young people 17 to 20 or 21 years old. But I do think we need to hold fast to the curfew. I think it protects our families here in town. It protects our businesses. There was ridiculous events that took place last year that I really believe we need to hold fast to this. So I would encourage you, when you make that decision, to really do so with careful thought and realizing that the students or young people that violate and hurt our town, generally speaking, are not from New Smyrna Beach. They come from out of town without supervision, and it is problematic. So we need to support our police force, and we need to support other business owners, the hotel property people, to help them maintain their business in a proper and appropriate fashion. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
My name is Gail Schmidt. I live at 446 Bouchelle Drive, Unit 201. And when I was reading the agenda and the city manager's report, I noticed that a meeting took place with the city manager, the parking supervisor, the interim chief of police, the CSA president, and our CAM manager. There's been a situation with people parking on the easement on Bouchelle Drive. People have an amenity with the boat ramp. The wet slips and the dry slips are all filled. The waiting lists are a mess. So people store their boats other places, and then they bring them there. They use the ramp. If they park appropriately on the right-of-way, I would like to see that continue. Partially selfish, I have a boat that's stored elsewhere, and I like to bring it and use it for the ramp, but I'm not the only one. But it's not overwhelming. You know, parking is really tough in New Smyrna anyway. At the most I've ever counted is like 5 rigs, I want to call them, with their trailers and their trucks attached, waiting to pull their boats out. And then they're never there during the week. I walked around today, no boats, no trailers, no cars. So I want to go on record as saying that when they go to the city manager and all of these, there is an opposing viewpoint. I've not been able to wrestle up the people, but there is an opposing viewpoint. We want to be able to keep using that city right-of-way and park according to the ordinances that are the New Smyrna Beach parking ordinances. Park with the traffic, don't block sidewalks, don't park too close to fire hydrants, etc. So just wanted to go on record for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Appreciate your comments. Anyone else for public participation? None will participation. Thank you for coming tonight. Thoughts. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Does any member of the commission wish to remove any item for discussion off the consent agenda? Seeing none.
Mayor, 6P.
Say it again, please.
6P is in Paul.
P is in Paul. Oh, the truck.
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
it's just a question.
Okay, good enough.
So my question is, as I read the information, this was something that was budgeted in last year but wasn't purchased?
Correct.
So it's a carryover from the previous year?
Correct.
Okay. That's all I had.
Thank you, Chief.
His question was answered.
Okay,
My
good
question,
enough.
yes.
All right, good. I didn't hear
Yeah,
that.
well, I got the material late, so I didn't have a
Okay,
chance to
good.
ask a question, so
Very good,
I wanted to
excellent.
make sure I
Okay.
was,
Thank you so much.
understood it.
I don't have any questions either, so is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So move.
Second.
A motion to approve the consent agenda. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perine? Yes. Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Great, let's move on to ordinances, second readings, and the public hearing. Ordinance 8A, item 8A, ordinance 1023 to conduct a second reading and public hearing of ordinance, which if adopted, would modify the sports complex rules. Madam City Attorney, would you please read it?
Ordinance number 1023, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending the Code of Ordinances, amending Chapter 58, Parks and Recreation, Section 58-2, hours established for use of parks and recreation areas, to revise park rules, providing for codification, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. Assistant City Manager Ron, would you like to set this up before Director Ray comes up and talks?
This is just a set of regulations regarding signage, and the biggest change to it operationally was putting more defined rules and regulations in place regarding the dog park out there. So our ordinance requires that any signs placed at the parks be approved by ordinances and the wording, so these changes here make it much more clear and efficient, and I'll turn it over to the respective department head to answer any specific questions.
Thank you very much, Ron. Director Ray, do you have a report? All right, David. So Rob, you're up.
It's me again, yeah. Thank you for the opportunity to explain this further. Kind of piggybacking off what our Assistant City Manager said, the main cause for this was the dog park, but we also wanted to match the ordinance to what the park signs actually read. So we have some signs that are posted currently that need to be upgraded, and we want to do a revamp of the park signage throughout the park. And in discussion with the City Attorney's Office, we wanted just to correlate the two together to make sure everybody was on the same page and the signs and the ordinances matched. So that's where this lies.
Perfect. Any questions by any commissioner? Thank you very much. Appreciate it there, Rob. The public hearing is now open. Are there any citizens who wish to speak? If so, please approach the podium. Seeing none, the public participation is now closed. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 1023?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Great. Is there further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Perine?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ordinance 1023 has been adopted. Ordinance 1123, to conduct a second reading and public hearing ordinance, which if adopted, would grant a non-exclusive franchise agreement to Extreme Concrete. Madam City Attorney, would you please read it?
Ordinance number 1123, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach granting a non-exclusive franchise to Extreme Concrete Services, Inc. to provide construction and demolition debris removal services within the City of New Smyrna Beach, outlining franchisees' duties, providing terms and conditions under which such franchise shall operate, providing for severability, providing for conflicting ordinances, and providing an effective date.
Thank you very much. Assistant City Manager Niebert, would you like to tee this up before
Yes,
this
sir.
time, Director
The city's
Ray?
ordinance require that any company providing construction debris removal be granted a franchise license under the city. This company has applied for said license to provide those services within the city, and you have the ordinance before you to exercise this agreement.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Director Ray, do you have something?
Just as Assistant City Manager had noted, this is a standard franchise agreement, and I'm here for any questions if you have any.
Any member of the commission have a question for Director Ray? Okay, thank you very much, David. Appreciate it. Is there any citizen who wishes to speak on this topic? Please approach the podium. Seeing none, the public participation is closed. The hearing is closed. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 1123?
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1123.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Great. We have a motion and a second. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perine?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
The ordinance has been adopted. Okay, now we're going to do the first readings. City Attorney will read the following ordinances the first time only, by title only. The second reading and discussion will be conducted on Tuesday, February 28th, 2023. Madam City Attorney, please proceed.
Ordinance number 1223, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending the Code of Ordinances, amending Chapter 54 to create Article 1 offenses and Article 2 youth protection curfew, establishing a youth curfew pursuant to Florida statutes 87720 through 87725, providing for codification, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Just one comment on this one. Today we got a request from the police chief just to make two small revisions. On page 6 of the ordinance, section 5413, it currently says a youth shall not be or remain, stay, linger, congregate, move about, wander, or stroll in any public place, or congregate in groups of 30 or more. Or congregates in groups of 30 or more was a request by our previous police chief. Our current police chief would like to just stick with the individual youth, so he would request that that language be removed. And also, there was an option to perform community service, and the request was to remove that section as well due to the difficulty in tracking the service hours and managing that program.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
And as stated before, the second reading and public hearing will be February 28th, 2023.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 9B, 1323.
Ordinance number 1323, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending the Code of Ordinances, amending Article 3, Section 2-86 to clarify the excusal process for city commissioner absences from meetings, providing for codification, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be February 28, 2023.
Thank you very much. We have those continuance dates, so we'll take those up for the second reading at that point. Move on to Section 10, Boards and Commissions. The compliance, code compliance will be up first. We'll consider reappointment of 3 members to serve 3-year terms set to expire March 3rd, 2026. Madam City Clerk, do you have a report?
Yes, good evening. There are 3 current members up for reappointment consideration. The ordinance that established that 1013 states that any member may be reappointed to additional terms by the City Commission. There's not a term limit for the members of code compliance. So the members that are up for reappointment consideration are Albert Szymanski. He just served his first term, going into his second. Dan Kopfer and Clifford Warren are serving their second terms, and they would all like to be reconsidered or considered for reappointment to serve a 3rd term and 2nd term. All of these terms expire on March 3rd, 2026. There's also 1 vacancy that was created by Rex Huffman. I did receive 1 application. However, that applicant lives outside of the city boundaries and not in the ISBA. So that vacancy is still open. We're accepting applications and hopefully fill that soon.
Thank you for that report. I understand that Mr. Huffman, Rex Huffman, has served 10 years, 8 years as chair. The commission wishes to thank him for his many, many years of service. So thank you very much, Rex. Is there a motion to reappoint Albert Szymanski, Don Kopfer, and Clifford Warren to 3-year terms expiring on March 3rd, 2026?
I make the motion to nominate them, appoint them rather.
Thank you. We have a
As
motion.
spoken.
Is there a second? There is a second. Any discussion on these nominees? Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin? Commissioner Martin?
Oh, Martin. Sorry, it sounded like Hartman. Yes.
See, I had the same problem.
Good. I'm glad I'm not alone.
Commissioner Perrine?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so the motion carries unanimously in support of these 3 volunteers, thanking them for their service. Mr. Szymanski, Mr. Kopfer, Mr. Warren, we appreciate your willingness and dedication to continue to serve the city. The city clerk's office will be sending you an official reappointment notification. Let's move on to item 10B, the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Board. Consideration of appointment of 1 citizen to serve an unexpired term ending March 29th, 2024. Madam City Clerk, do you have a report?
Yes, I do. Antarius Jackson accepted a job that took him out of town, so he had to resign from that position. We did receive 1 application from resident Patrice Smith. The applicants and the members need to meet the criteria of residing in the area defined by Volusia County Community Assistance. I attached the map to your report. She does meet that criteria and lives within that zone, so I was recommending appointing Patrice Smith to serve the unexpired 3-year term that ends on March 29th, 2024.
Is there a motion to appoint Patrice Smith to the unexpired term ending the 29th of March, 2024?
Go for it.
Is there a second?
Sure. Yeah, I second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perrine?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Mr. Jackson for his years of service and for finding, going the extra mile and finding his replacement of Ms. Smith. We thank you, sir, for your service. Mutt, you've done a wonderful job. Congratulations to Ms. Smith. We appreciate your willingness and dedication and your ability and desire to serve the city and our community. The city clerk's office will be sending you an official notice of your appointment. Thank you very much. So now on to commission reports. I'd like to start with Commissioner Perrine. Do you have anything that you'd like to report, ma'am?
I have a couple of things. The past 2 weeks, we've had numerous emails, calls, texts concerning some upcoming historic district changes that are going to be coming forward to us. And even though I volunteered my home to be included in the Charming Home Tour, I just want to go public and state that as a historic homeowner, I ask that our citizens not confuse me for being in favor of this Historic Commission Board's upcoming change request. I've had people even knock on my doors that are my neighbors asking why I would do that. And I love our historic homes, and I've saved plenty. I live in the work in historic buildings, but I'm against the upcoming proposed LDR text amendment changes, the local historic overlay, and the Chapter 50 revisions. I'd also like to request that our 31,000 citizens, give or take, change not to be confused from a small resident coalition survey that went out to a group of non-historic landowners. Because of the dozens of emails that we've received against these proposed changes, I'd like to recommend that our future Historic Commission Board be comprised only of historic landowners that have current historic property owner rights. I also like to state that in our agenda briefings yesterday, we were presented with a new proposition for a sustainability board, and I'd like to recommend that we don't establish more boards since we've not filled the new task boards that our past city commission board already established. I suggest we focus on what we've already have, and if we have needs, we assess those needs and assign the tasks to those existing new qualified boards. We're getting a lot of boards, and the last thing we need is more. We need to fill what we have.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Martin, do you have a report for us?
I spent much of the last week surveying the beach and river access points that are for public enjoyment and looking over the main thoroughways beachside. And our access points are inconsistent. Many are unmaintained, different signage at each location. To clarify, there are little spits of land all along Atlantic Avenue, Saxon Avenue, and North Peninsula, Indian River, that are designed for public access and viewing of the river or the beach. And many of these are unmaintained. There's different signage at each location. For both county and city, main beach access points have a single tape across the walkway and paths through the dunes on either side. Some areas are dangerous. So we have the danger factor, but we also know that a total refresh is needed. And I think it can be done pretty simply. Just take posts connected by New Smyrna Beach blue chain, a sign like the Adopt a Park sign that says river or beach access is appropriate, maybe a bench, but nothing elaborate, just a simple viewing point. Then beachside just looks shabby. From crumbling roads to trash and overgrown sidewalks to bedraggled flags. And a significant economic engine, Flagler Avenue, needs refurbishment. The extreme environment requires marine-grade facilities, which are more expensive than mainland accoutrement. The $190K in ARPA funds is nice, but more money is needed to reach the standard that Canal Street currently enjoys. And as for sustainability, I'm proposing a new staff position. Whatever you call this person, environment, sustainability, resiliency, conservation director, an umbrella position to review the construction plan, stormwater, LDRs, capital projects, maintenance, facilities, to minimize impact and armor for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate that report. Commissioner McGurk, have you got a report?
Thank you. Just want to say that Images was a fantastic success as usual. It's so wonderful that this town has pulled that off for so long. The ACA has been the leading force behind that, and it is great. We have, the Arts Fiesta coming up, and we get a little cantankerous over some of these things we do, all of the wine walks and stuff. But I got to tell you, some of the longest and most successful events have been revolving around the artistic community, and it's just fantastic that it continues to not only keep going but thrive. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to proceed cautiously because I don't want to put words in people's mouths. There was some issues brought up to me during my agenda briefing. I'll probably have more to say when city manager is here. I want to clarify some of the things I may have heard. Valley, did you say that, let's make sure I heard right, I don't want to put words in your mouth, that the Historic Preservation Board should be comprised of members who actually own historic property?
I did,
Okay.
because the survey that went out was not to only historic homeowners.
Yeah.
And I've requested that change, because I'm a historic homeowner and my neighbors voted no on this 2 years ago. Now it's back on our plates again, and we still don't want it. We don't even know why this is being brought up again.
So with respect to the board, that is something I've often thought of myself. So that is something I would certainly like more discussion on in the future.
Thank you.
As to, and I think I heard there was resiliency or sustainability person. You're for it. You've suggested you're not for it.
Two
Okay.
different things that
Okay,
we're talking about.
I need some clarification, just so I know what you guys are talking about.
I'm talking about a staff position. We hire somebody. And Valley was talking about a sustainability board, like Steve Snively, and a volunteer board.
Right.
One of the things we had also in our briefing is that we have joint board meetings, workshops, and I think that's a great idea. Like, if we meet once in a while with a joint with P&Z, let's work and tweak what we have and make it better. And then I believe your past city commission board approved 3 new task boards, and we haven't even assigned those tasks. So if there's a person that wants to help with a task, like what we got, instead of creating a whole new board, let's assign them on that board positions to do. Because we're getting out of hand with our boards.
Okay, good. Understand. When it comes to additional boards, additional staff members, I just want to make sure it's kind of like the old, we have infrastructure crumbling across this nation. We keep building new stuff, not taking care of the old stuff.
Thank you.
I would just want to make sure that we have a well thought out plan for somebody, but more importantly, let's make sure that we have the staff that we need already, those positions filled, before we jump too far ahead and start fulfilling. Because I can tell you that one example would be, we may not even have the staff available to start implementing some of the recommendations that a new staff member would recommend. So within the planning, the building department. So I just want to, I hear what you're saying. I think having a staff member that deals with those issues, which would need to be clarified because the word resiliency is very broad. I would just want to, I'm certainly willing to go down that discussion, but I want to proceed cautiously just to make sure we don't overreach. I will know that we have tasked staff with an enormous amount of projects in the past. And again, not to beat this issue, but we were never built internally to handle all of this. Our budget wasn't. So when we start talking about these kinds of things, we need to make sure we're able to accommodate and prepared to deal with these things, not only from a specific duty standpoint, but from a budgetary standpoint and all that. So I'm listening to you all, and I'm willing to have those discussions.
Yeah, I just want to clarify for me, people use sustainability, resilience, environmental conservation. I don't care if you call the position George, but it is somebody who is assigned, and it should and possibly can have a positive financial impact by doing something this way rather than that way. We can save money. We'll move it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Really good interaction. Great. Vice Mayor, your comments, sir.
So along with that same theme, I wouldn't be in favor of creating any new positions right now. We've just recently hired 3 new key personnel to staff, positions that haven't been filled for a very long time. The planning resource director, the planning director, and then now a civil engineer. I'd like to give them some time to get on board and to see what ideas they may have and see if we can't solve some of these issues or at least have more conversations about that before we go out and start adding more staff and more boards and things like that. So I would be kind of a wait and hold kind of for a while and see how this new staff plays out over the next couple of months. I also think, Images was much better this year than it was last year. It was a great event. Thank you to the ACA for all the work that they did, all the volunteers, all the city staff that was out there, before and after and helping out. Certainly do appreciate all that. It was truly, and the Chamber of Commerce for the weather. We always give them the credit or not, they're in charge of the weather. So the Chamber of Commerce had 3 beautiful weather days, so certainly do appreciate that. I think that was wonderful. On another note, the previous commission appointed me to the opioid task force for Volusia County. I'm your representative. That was done before the 3 of you got here. Our first meeting is coming up on Friday the 24th, so I will be there representing New Smyrna Beach. So if you are following that or have any issues or concerns, I think this first one is just kind of an organizational meeting. And a lot of it deals with, I think, funding that was received from the lawsuits for the opioid and how we deal with them as a county, Volusia-wide. So I'll bring you back a report on that as soon as I have something. So that's it. Oh, happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
Well said. Ron, I skipped your opportunity for any further city manager remarks or reports. Do you have one by chance?
Other than that, I will greatly welcome the return of our regular city manager tomorrow.
Similar, city clerk, I didn't ask you for a report. Any further remarks?
No report, just we've been talking about boards, or you've been discussing boards tonight, so I would just ask for consideration if there are any proposed meeting body discussions that happen in the future. I feel as though I do have valuable input on them since we manage the boards and support commissions, so I'd ask to be included with that.
You should be right in the middle of that, absolutely,
Thank you.
Kelly. And similarly, Madam City Attorney, I apologize, I did not ask for I know you have a gazillion things cooking. Is there anything you want to share?
Not at this time.
Very good. So just a few remarks. Resiliency is it used to be called just sustainability. Now, as Lisa points out, resiliency. There's candy out there. There's there's state funding. There are some incentives to delve into that category. I share the Vice Mayor's concern about overheating our staff right this minute, but that should be in a medium term, either rewickering of roles and responsibilities for existing staff or have somebody do that full time. We have citizens in our community who have done this type of work in other communities that we admire, and so we may have a lot of people that are interested in helping us one way or another, either from a volunteer perspective with former city managers, former city attorneys, former city clerks, et cetera. I'd like to commend the new chamber board and Stephanie Ford for the outstanding expo that was on the street on Saturday a couple weeks ago. I think I saw Commissioner Martin and many of the others out there. We had over 200 businesses out there. Jason, while you were on your trip, it was just a phenomenal show, and the crowds really turned out. The city was represented well by the staff. I'd like to thank the staff for turning out for that, and all the preparation that went for that. It really showed the business side of New Smyrna and what we have to offer our citizens. I was blessed to be able to go to a ribbon cutting at the Babe James Center. We have installed a new canopy over a section, providing shade in the very hot summer, and AstroTurf amongst the monkey bars and all the equipment out there, which is just awesome. So no longer do you have to stub your toe on chips of wood and stuff. It's now a beautiful AstroTurf. So really well done to the team for doing that. I was able to attend the MLK walk. Hats off to the police chief and the staff for making that a smooth operation, and for the folks that organized that. It was a very smooth but small operation this year. spoke recently with Representative Chase Tremont about our 5 projects that are where we're requesting state funding, and that is in the hopper. Yesterday was the deadline for the submission. Our submission is in both houses, the House and the Senate, and so there's a trip planned to Tallahassee in the future for us to go and actually talk to each of the staffs and each of the members about our project. So I'm sure we plan to do that. This past week was the 103rd annual Southeast Regional Daytona Beach Chamber of Commerce get-together and meeting. I had the pleasure of sitting and having dinner with the State Secretary of Transportation. And so we talked about joining forces and joining hands on our tremendous traffic and parking issues. And he seemed motivated and interested in helping us in that regard. He will be one of the targets when we go to Tallahassee to make sure we follow up on that. There'll be the police chief will deliver, the interim police chief will deliver a briefing, a public briefing at either at this, at a commission meeting or at another forum where many can understand spring break preparedness. We're taking a round turn on what went down last year to make sure we don't have a repeat for this year. Chief Feldman has some wonderful ideas. The interagency cooperation is going to be great. We want to be welcoming. We want people to come to this town and enjoy themselves. We do not want to have those that come be a burden to anyone. And so we're going to be, we will be ready for spring break this year. And lastly, hats off to the Canal Street Historic Business District and the local New Smyrna residents who revived the car show. It was in its second month of operation under the new management, and it went off flawlessly. Both the businesses were supportive, and the residents that turned out seemed to have a marvelous time. So thank you to the folks that put that on. I'm grateful for that. And that concludes my report. Any other feedback, any other readdressals, reattacks by any commissioner? Happy Valentine's Day, one and all. We're adjourned.